Hello viewers once again, and welcome back to Simple Groundwork and Diorama Technique with me, your host and instructor, Bill Grigg. As usual and as always, we have the often duplicated, never copied cameraman, our infamous and wonderful Cape Clambake Dave. Cape Cod Clambake Dave. Thank you. And we're here. Oh, Dave, you got some fans out there. We have about 50 people in the studio this afternoon watching the show. And we've been getting calls from all over America and all over the continental Europe and stuff like that, and asking all kinds of questions about the show here. And we just tell them, no, well, tune us in, put us on the satellite and tune us in. So, yeah, like that's going to happen. So anyhow, let's go back and let's keep on going. And let's continue on with our, what are we doing, Dave?
Stirring our paint.
Stirring our paint and building a C-47 gunship. The infamous Spooky with its miniguns sticking out the side. So we will continue on and keep on with our construction. And you know what I just noticed? I want you to take a picture of this because I'm a dope. Get a picture of the side panel here. I was all curious how the interior went together. I actually had a reference photo on the box that I just noticed. Oh, way to be aware. Thank God it wasn't a poisonous snake, because I'd be dead. So let's continue on, folks. Let's keep on going here. What we're going to do now is we are going to do this step right here. Let me get some eyes on. Do you love this instant reel TV? This is the steps we're going to be doing right here. This one here and this one here. So that's what we'll be doing. And again, study your instruction sheets because they do help you with parts placement. Again, remember, an instruction sheet is not a dead nut sequence in building. It is not, let me flip this over. It is not A to B to C to D, although in this case it was, but in typical cases it's not this. You skip all over the place on your, what I like to call constructions, and it only serves as parts placement, not building order. Keep that in mind, because there's a lot of things you need to do that they tell you to do, like, install your windows before you paint. Well, why am I painting around windows? That's nutty. Don't do stuff like that. Install your landing gear before it's, before you paint your. Well, these are things that we don't do, but we will do that in this complete kit build, and that's why I'm doing this complete kit build. I know some of this is honestly, Martha, get the shotgun, get the pickup truck, and let's take the boy out back and give him a tattoo, because it can get deathly boring, but I want you to see, as I've said many times, in this now, episode number 26, we are episode 26, I want you to see the whole process. I don't want you to have any questions of, well, the last thing I saw him do was put this together, and now down the road, I'm doing something, the whole fuselage is together. Well, how did he get to that point? How did that point happen? So that's why I'm building and shooting this the way I did. I was really reluctant to do a complete kit build. I was very reluctant to do a complete kit build on this because I knew it was going to get long in the tooth, and it was really going to get me, Martha, get the pickup truck. Get the pickup truck, because this guy is driving me through the roof. But this is model building. This is model building. If you do not have the patience to do this, go be a train guy. Go be a model car guy. Sorry. All right, let's see what I gotta do. Now, when I look at the instruction sheet, I am not sure if I install the instrument panel and then the control columns, or I do the control columns and do the instrument panel. So how do I figure this out? Well, obviously, take off the instrument panel, cut out the control column, and do some dry fitting. Can you see over this, Dave? Is anything in the way here?
No.
No, I'm good?
Fine.
Okay, let me turn this so we can see. Look at the constructions and... Oh! Oh! Does it go underneath? Maybe it goes underneath. This is not... This, again, this kit is not making a lot of sense to me. Like that, and then like this. Hip. I gotta set this down, gang. That has got to be it. Very tough on the instructions here, folks. Here's my dilemma. Here's my dilemma, and I'm going to show you what it is. The arrows for the control columns go into slots on the side. Well, I see the slots on the side. I do see them. But then there are these two little tabs on the bottom. Now, tabs usually suggest that they're going to go into some type of a system where the tab goes in between. But as I flip this piece here over, we see no receivers for this piece. So maybe these two tabs only serve as stabilizers to get the piece sitting in the proper alignment position. I just don't see, let me try it let me try it one other way. Oh, that makes sense too. Huh. Well, that makes sense as well, folks. I don't know. You know, here's the beauty of doing something that the cockpit doesn't show. I can do this one of both ways. I think I'm going to do it the opposite direction. I think I will do it up on top. No, I won't do it up on top because it doesn't fit. It definitely goes underneath. Okay, I'm good. We're good. But there's the process. See how long it took me to just figure this out? This is model building, folks. This is not bam, 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 rock and roll, go to town. It's just not that type of a hobby. All right, so I've got a little paint up the top here. So we will do the magic paint removal with a little liquid glue. And I'll show you. Put right on the part. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you can get a close-up of that, Dave. Look at that. I just wiped the glue. I just wiped the paint clean with the glue. I didn't even have to scrape it. You see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's do the same thing. Get a little different glue so I get a little volume on here. Down that edge onto the bottom of the piece. Get it up and get that in place. Now also, to make sure that I've done this correctly, there's another way to check and make sure that this is going to work. You know, what would be disastrous here, folks? I don't want to say disastrous, but what would be a problem here is once this is together, everything, all the glue is dried and everything, then you go to put it in the aircraft and lo and behold, this is in the way. So how do we figure that out? And it's very easy. I think this is the side I want. Yes, it is. This is the side I want right here. So what I will do with this is, I will install it. And guess, lo and behold, that will work just fine because as you can see, it is not in the way. And you're right up in this section here, Dave. You can see that that is not in the way. That is not going to be a problem installed like that. Yeah. So, I'm not too concerned about this installation of this at all. I'm happy with it. It seems to be correct. And now let's take this, and again, let's glue the instrument pin. Oh, I got to put the little control piece on here. And we'll put a little glue there. And put a little liquid up here. Up here. I was kind of hoping that would do the same thing. But then again, we'll scrape this a little bit. You can see this is real good to see it coming off. You can see the paint came right off of that because of that liquid glue. Then we put the control column on. Very nice. And a little glue along the bottom. Oh, geez, I left this open again. And install. And that, my friend, is the deal. Now, again, you want to let this piece sit. Matter of fact, we're going to do this, Dave. We'll do this. We're going to let this piece sit and tack for a second. I'd say maybe, I don't know, we're going to take maybe a 3 or 4 minute break here so it tacks. Now, the reason I'm taking this, we're going to take this little break here and filming is I want this to tack to the piece but still be flexible enough in the glued seam that I can manipulate this in case it's in the wrong position. But I don't want to do it immediately because it'll just keep falling off and it'll be more of an aggravation. And obviously, if a piece keeps falling off, you may have to reglue it, and then it just becomes a globby, gluey mess. And you want to avoid that. You want to use as little glue as possible. And obviously, you know, it's the old adage of measure 1,000 times and cut only once. That's the same thing here. Dry fit, dry fit, dry fit, glue once, install, leave it be. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we're going to even need to cut, Dave, because I talk so damn long. Now you can see that. You can see it, gang. See? It's already started to tack really tight. And again, I will take my fuselage halve and I will install this. This is all just to ensure that I have a proper fit. And that, whoa, now see? That needs to come forward a little bit and turn a little bit. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. What a shame, all that and stuff in the interior, and bye-bye. Yeah, okay, so that's what we do. And now we are going to do the same thing I did before. Make sure I get a fit with the fuselage. And I do. I've got it. I've got it good. Great, 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 great. What did I do with my elastic bands? Here we go. Avoiding my piece in the front, being careful not to mess that up. And I come to the back. Maybe I do and maybe I don't. And come to the back and do that up. Now, I check all my fit seams. Everything fits. Make sure everything's tight and together. I can squeeze everything together. That's a tight fit right there, boy. Also, this is a good time to take and look inside. Are all my pins lined up? Is everything lined up? Is everything sitting in the proper position? Just because, honestly, now keep this in mind too. Just because all these parts fit inside this aircraft and they look like everything goes together and everything does go together, doesn't necessarily mean everything is sitting in the proper position. So therefore, if you can look inside like I'm able to here, I know all my alignment pins are in the proper position in regards to my fuselage and my floorboard. Everything here is sitting correctly. When I look in the open cargo door, is my rear bulkhead sitting in there fine? Yes, that appears to be fine. Sitting in the proper position. I have no misalignment points in there where ribbing in the fuselage comes up and then there's a bulkhead. I'm not sitting like that with that. I'm sitting right on the lines. So you can be pretty confident now that this floor piece and cockpit is all installed in the proper position. And it is. It's looking really, really good. The only one thing that I see as a problem is right here, and I'll point this out to you. Let me get it good and stable. Is right here. This is the back of the instrument panel.
You turn it toward me? Yeah, okay.
Better? Can you get it now?
Just a sec.
Tell me when you got it, Dave.
Got it.
You see how I missed the back of that piece? It's gray, shining through there. So that's something I'll just have to fix with a little bit of black paint. But better to find it out now than once it's all glued together. Because it could be a spot where you just, you know, this is not bad. I could actually go in and bink with a little bit of black. But let's say it's something down inside that you, oh no, I missed that spot and I can actually see it. So that is what we're doing there. Now let's continue gluing. And I'm going to do a little simple wash and a little simple dry brush on this piece, and then get the two wings together so we can start to dry fit this piece here together. And we will do that in, what, a half a second? Be right back. All right, folks, let's go into this wing assembly here. Excuse me. And now what I'll show you this real quick so we can see exactly what we're looking at. Bring up these again and get my trusty pointer. We are doing this step here. We're going up to, good, that step there. And we're going to do this. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go between these two. I thought there was three. Guess I was wrong. Yeah, there's only three steps in this. So let us do this. Now, what I have overlooked here is, we'll get inside this wing piece. We'll get right up in here. I've overlooked painting this detail up in here. Because as you put this together, and we look up into the gear bay, and that's just kind of dry fit in position, we can see now that this will be seen. Okay, so that should have been done. Now, because of the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to show you a cheat technique that you shouldn't do this, but this is something, it'll be a fun little thing to show you. When we get to a point and we get all wigged up like I just screwed up right now. But I'll show you how what an easy fix this is. Let me get this stuff out of the way. Get this stuff out of the way. Into my interior green paint. Wow. Wow, I cannot believe. Wow. Let's get a shot of this top here, Dave.
I'm coming on in.
Let's get a shot of that top right there.
Oh, that looks like shit.
Look at that. It does. Look at that. That is lack of PBM, is what that is. Jeez. So there's a good example, folks, of of PBM here. Also, I grabbed a wet piece. I'm getting paint all over my hands. Welcome to live TV. Yeah, like we're live, Dave. Like we couldn't take this and edit this out, but that's all right because that's part of model building. Also, you look like an artist. Maybe I should cut off my ear and mail it to my girlfriend. Who's the dude that did that? the
Oh, jeez.
Mike,
You
was
would
that
ask me, wouldn't you?
Rembrandt or Michelangelo or
I can't remember.
somebody cut off his ear? I love you, baby. What?
I don't think I'd go that far.
And then she goes, I love you too, honey. And he goes, what? Ah?
Bill, you're out of control.
What? I love you too, honey. Your paintings are great. What? So let us not get that fanatical in our artistic abilities. Appropriate brush. I want to use what, students? On a flat surface. What do I want?
Tapered?
Everybody inserts answer here. A what style of brush? Remember, Dave? Do you remember?
Tapered?
Or tapered or a
A flat brush.
flat
Oh,
brush.
I got that.
No help from the cheat department here. So again, look at what I've done, gang. I've actually separated. These are all flat brush heads. Everything in here is a flat brush. Everything, everything. That looks like a good one. And you can see I've got all my brushes all separated. I've actually even gone now into, gang, I've even gone now into brushes that are just solely made for washes. These brushes here are solely made for detail work. And this clump of brushes here is only for oil paints. I am not doing that. I've also have even started a spot over here for brushes that only go into metallic paints, such as silver, brass, aluminum, copper, bronze. So that's something to think about. And now let's get one more shot of this bottle top, Dave.
Got it.
And now watch this, folks. Come on, watch this. This is why you do your PBM. And I've probably shoved this down your throat a million times, but guess what? You're going to get it shoved down your throat a million times more. This is important. This also, everybody that's doing this, all my students that are doing this are raving, Bill, I'm saving my paint. I'm not losing paint. I don't lose any paint anymore. Now, what do you want to put a lid on? You want to put a lid on that what I showed you, or do you want to put a lid back on that? It's painfully obvious, students. It's painfully obvious. Look at that, how nice that seals up. Nice and tight. No problems. And let's go in and do this. Then I'll show you how you cheat. I'll show you how you cheat. Nice flat brush, nice flat surface. Go right up into everything that has a possibility of being seen. I should be showing you this instead of painting like this. Let me do it like this. Come outside your lines, because you never know what's going to show. And I talk so much, gang, I got to put out some more paint. So just bear with me. Again, the entire process being shown. Always out onto the palette. I want a couple of these. And you've all seen what I do with my stirring sticks. I always put my stirring sticks over onto kind of a holder here, which is an old top of a butter can or something. And again, you can see I messed up the top a little bit. So we get in with that PBM. And what is PBM again, Dave?
Paint bottle maintenance.
Yes, sir. Paint bottle maintenance. Paint bottle maintenance. Good technique. A good proven technique. So again, let's pick up a little paint off the palette. I want to get a little more color on this because that last part was just a little bit thin. And you can see I'm not being real neat and real particular about it. I just want to get paint in there. I did the front of the nacelle, which is a little thin, which has almost dried. And again, over to here. And pick this up and go right into the other one. Let's do it for the folks. Let's do it for the students and the viewers and Martha. Oh, God, a bit of paint for Martha. And you can see I'm being very liberal with my application of paint. I'm putting quite a bit on. And now, gang, I shouldn't even show you this. I shouldn't do this. Because I will tell you a really good story about this. All right, let me put these down. Give a quick clean of the brush. Whoa, wrong thinner. Yeeks! That would have been not good. Keep your brain about you when you clean your brush. I did it the other night. I will confess. I was down here building the other night about 2 o'clock in the morning, and yes, sirree, I opened up that low odor thinner for the oil paint and stuck the enamel brush right into it. Pulled it out and went, "What's going on here?" Ooh, it was Nightmare on Elm Street. So you'll realize, but keep your brain about you when you're cleaning your brushes. Probably shouldn't be building at 3 o'clock in the morning either. You know what's good too in your paint bottle thinner? Dave, why don't you get a close up of right over in here? And tell me when you got that. Right in that corner. You got that? Can you see the brush head moving?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. This is a little window I maintain in this bottle. This bottle is ancient. I've had this bottle since I was like probably 16 years old. So it's been only like 3 or 4 days that I've had this bottle. Yeah, right. But I've got a little window here, and I can see the brush head move. And that way I know I'm good and clean, and obviously I take it out, and voila. Yeah, gang, I am good and clean. Onto this. Again, clean your brush off with the thinner. A little spit between your fingers, and reshape that brush head. And you can see it. I'll actually put the brush head up. I'll put it right against my shirt here, Dave. And we'll rotate it. Nice and slow. And you can see how I totally reform that brush head. Now this is a number 5 brush. It says professional on it. So this brush was probably a good $5 or $6 brush. I do not want to take $5 and $6 brushes and not maintain them. I can't be out there, we all in this economy, folks, we can't be out there throwing $5, $10, $15, $20 in brushes and use them 2 or 3 times and they're out the window. You do that with the crappy synthetic brushes. Who cares? You get to use those 3 or 4 times. Who cares? They're $1 a piece. Who cares? So here, I shouldn't show you this, and then I will tell you a story. We want this paint to dry faster. We use the German man hair dryer. And honest to God, why do I show that? I shouldn't show people this. Film it. And basically, wunderbar, hair dryer has done his job. So you can do that. Now, it's story time. So let's sit back, kids, with Uncle Wiggily, and it's time for stories. I have a friend. I used to live right down the street from a hobby shop in Weymouth. He calls me up one night. "Hey, kid, I got an idea for decals. You got to see this. It's marvelous. I put my decals on. 15 minutes later, I'm able to cover them up, and I'm able to start enhancing my decals." So I'm very intrigued by this. So I get done my supper, and I just walk the block down to the hobby shop, because I lived about a block away from the shop. And I go down and I see this guy. Now this guy is my mentor. He is my teacher. He's been teaching me since I was, I want to say, like 14 years old. So a lot of this stuff I contribute to this man. Down I go. He has been working on the old Revell 1/32 scale P40. And any of you people out there that are model builders, you're going to be like, the Revell P40? It's really a dog of a kit. But he's done a lot of scratch building, a lot of additions, a lot of changes in the airframe. I want to say, at this point, my buddy is like probably 6 months into this build. And this is not, if you know the kit, it's not a good kit. He's added many things, scratch built many things, lots of hours in the cockpit, and it truly is coming out beautiful. So now here he is. It's all, I got to do the visual because it's just too funny. It's all together, boom, 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 and he's got the decal out in the wing. Boom, out here. Watch this, kid. On the decal goes blot, 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 press, press. We do everything that we're supposed to do. And out comes that lovely German guy, Herr Dreyer, right? Watch this, kid. Now, we're going to get this, and now look at that, and look at the water evaporate. Now, isn't this beautiful? And he starts to talk a little too much about how he's done these decals and this decal and that decal, and the hair dryer is blowing and blowing and blowing, and suddenly the wing of the aircraft, and I got to do this with my hand, the wing of the aircraft goes, you got my hand, Dave? Mm-hmm. The wing of the aircraft goes, ronk. I mean, there's no fixing this, folks. This wing has literally turned itself right up over its other self. It's so pliable. So now he's mad. He tries to put it back, and now it gets this big kink in it, and it's just, and it was kind of like, look at the time. It's awful late. I gotta go. And honestly, this is no lie, gang. As I was walking down the sidewalk, walking home, I was a good 300 feet away, and I could still hear out of the hobby shop. So months and months and months of work. So honestly, listen, you can use, a hair dryer, but keep your head about you. It might be better to do a lower heat at a greater distance and do this. You know what else this works really good on, and I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to, is when you start to lose your low odor thinner and your oil paints. Boy, is this a good friend. You can get on those and, and just dry it up. It really evaporates really fast. But again, keep in mind your heat content, and is the plastic getting hot? Because, even, folks, let's say you didn't have this catastrophe of the wing folding on back of itself. Let's say you just got it too hot and it got a little warp in it. Now as you put your aircraft together, your aircraft could be now sitting on a table with its wings, and all of a sudden you see one wing, and I'll do it on this side, Dave. One wing has got a little thing in it, or it's a little wiggy, it's a little warped, it's a little turned, it's a little... So just keep that in mind. But I did this so I can cheat and show you this technique. And again, do it properly. Don't build like Bill. Don't build like Bill. Here's what we're going to do for this enhancement, because it is internal, and I can take it and I can filter it later on, so I don't have to add a wash right now. I can do this dry brush technique, bring my piece up, let that dry, then drop a filter on top of that. So let us do that. I need my interior green and some yellow zinc. Okay? And this is what we're going to do so we can actually glue this wing together. Get this together. Again, we'll take out a little zinc. Let's get this out of the road. Take a little zinc. Stir your paint out onto your palette, because this is just a dry brush color, so you don't need a lot out now. PBM. Boy, I'm getting hungry. PBM, a little yellow zinc Oh, again, geez, what is going on with this? Oh, I had students. We're using my paints. The zinc is out. Yellow zinc chromate. Now, as you mix, we've seen me do this thousands and thousands and thousands of times on this show. And I did say we're into episode 26, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I did earlier on. Episode 26. A good dry brush. And obviously you can kind of use a junkier brush for your dry brush. And I'll show you the dry brush top I'm going to use right now. Look at it. Looks like it's a relic of the Titanic, doesn't it?
Very topical.
Isn't that? Yeah, I figured I'd throw that in, you know. I figured I'd throw that in. Not that it's 100 years anniversary of the Titanic or anything during this show. No, it's not. All right, down to the palette. Now, watch what I do, gang. I am on a non-absorbent surface. You pick a little bit of your green up, you go to an opposite spot. Pick a little of your zinc up, and now we know between my base color, my highlight color, I can work over here and get my accent color. Again, onto my dry brush palette. One spot, we work in one spot always, and then dry brush out to the other areas so we know where we are. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll go right inside of here and light, 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 light. And I got to turn this so I can see it. I can't see what I'm doing. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're just going to dry brush this piece up so we get a little bit of that interior detail. And there it is. You got that, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's do the other side. And again, back to the palette. Right into the same spot I was working in. That way, I know if I stay off to the side a little bit, see what I'm grabbing a little more yellow. I've got my base color that I did the mixture of the two, and I've got my enhancement color, and I know exactly where I am on my enhancement color. Plus, I can go over to my dry brush palette, and again, I work the same spot to get the initial paint out, which gives me a reservoir which I can regenerate. And out here to know where I am, dry brush wise. Onto the piece, which is now, what's it been? 5 minutes, 3 minutes? Piece is dead not dry, thanks to our little German friend. Hair dryer. Some guy sitting in the living room going, a little friend, what, King Kamehameha? Go away, boy. You bother me. And right into this. And that's truly kind of all you need, because this is kind of a section of the aircraft that you're really not going to see. And again, out onto the wing spars, and we do the same exact thing. I got to put these flat though, gang. Oh no, I'll put them on a board, because I got to have a backup piece for this. Let me get some paint. Again, right to where I'm working. Right back in the same spot. Now see how when I work in the same spot, dry brushing and bring it out to unload the brush, but do the first initial. See how the advantage of this is? I'm still on a wet palette. I'm still working it wet. And coming out to the dry. Real nice. That's real nice. That's real nice right there, gang. That's real nice. Now come back over to the piece. Hold this up for you, and then we will watch this piece actually grow right in front of our faces. train guys, pay attention. Oh, I can't pay attention right now. I'm too busy putting white paint in the grout lines on my building. I don't know why I attacked those guys. Oh, but we do have some laughs when we see each other. The train guys and I, we do have a bunch of laughs when we do this. And you know what? I'm going to show you this too, because I might as well, because I've already pulled you into a world of degradation with a hairdryer. So I might as well continue. Oh, up in here also, don't forget up in here, that was one of the reasons that I'm down here doing what I'm doing with the hairdryer. I forgot about these parts. And just a little bit more paint. Hear a pickup truck, Dave? Do you hear a pickup truck? He's painting again, Martha. Oh. And that should be more than sufficient. So I'll turn this a little bit so you can get the angles on it.
Got it.
And that should be more than sufficient. And again, whoop, 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 whoop. Remember, a dry brush, when you apply the dry brush, you're still adding a wet paint. Even though it's very dry, it's still pretty wet on the piece. So you want to avoid touching. I can touch this dry brushed area. There's not a problem there. But I can feel a little tack from the paint that I applied. So always, don't do a dry brush and then go hopping into it crazy wild, and start to, do other additional things to it, because truly, it's not really dry paint yet. So I got these. I'm pretty happy with what I've got here. And then I'll might as well corrupt you again, because I've already corrupted you in this show. This will be known as episode 26, the corruption episode. I don't know, why am I doing this?
And I have to edit this thing.
I know it. Poor Dave was sitting there
Bring you
going,
down to the Cape and show you how it's done.
I know it.
Especially while you're fooling around.
Poor Dave is now down there going, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh. Bill, what are you doing to me? That's all right, Dave. It'll challenge your creative juices.
Don't worry about it.
Sure, right. Like we all believe that one. Okay, now let's take a little look-see and see if what I've got here is something that I am happy with. So I just want to kind of just dry fit this together. That's good enough. That's close enough. And take a look inside. Now you can see, and you might as well photograph this, Dave. You can see it's kind of a dark void in there. So there's really not a lot of necessity to take this wheel well and really go wild in it and detail crazy in it. There's really not a necessity. But let's corrupt you. Might as well corrupt you. My name is the King of Corruption. I get it on a fairly flat surface. Grab a oil brush, oil paint brush, my oil paint thinner, and a little raw umber. A little raw umber onto my palette. Am I moving too fast, Dave?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit? Slow down a little bit? Yeah, I kind of thought that. I was like, wow, I'm moving a little fast. You don't have to follow the paint over. All right, into the low odor thinner. Onto the edge. Pull a little bit out. Now, why am I doing this with an oil paint as opposed to an enamel paint? Well, right now in this particular application, where I have gone in and I have done some dry brushing and enhanced the dry with the blow dryer and stuff, I don't want to take another solvent with my solvent-based paint, right? We all know this. We're all onto, come down with me, Dave. We're all onto this. We know that we've got this color that would be broken down in the interior with this. So because it is such a recent dry brush, I don't want to go in with another solvent and take the prospect of regenerating this and burning through to my gray. So I know with my low odor thinner, it's less aggressive and it's not compatible with the enamel paint. So it will, now don't get me wrong, this will regenerate enamel paint if you mess with it way too much. That's why when we go in and do this, we go in and do the touch. Remember the touch? And let's see if I can do this at an angle. This is really should be laid flat, but I'll do it on an angle for the camera here. I can't really see what I'm doing. Not for filming purposes. I'm sorry, students, but I gotta take a look at this down. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now, I'm going to hold this up real quick because it's got to be laid flat. But you can see that I have accomplished the exact same technique of base painting, washing, and dry brushing. But this time, I base painted, dry brushed, then washed. So it works both ways. Okay, let's put that down. Let's do the others. Let me get these flat pieces out of the road, because these will be quick. Wow, 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 wow. Can you get that, Dave? Get the one side, get both sides. See the enhanced side?
Just a second.
This is the enhanced side. And then go back to the unenhanced side. You can definitely see the difference, gang. So there's another approach to this. You could do your dry brushing. Now also, keep in mind, this is another good teaching piece. Keep in mind, sometimes when you dry brush, as you dry brush, the paint may have a tendency to clump or get hard straight lines in the edges of the dry brush. If you go base paint, wash, dry brush, you still have, I don't want to say the harshness, but I'm going to use that word, the harshness of the dry brush. Dropping a wash on top of a dry brush lessens the effect of the dry brush. We'll put it in terms like this. We'll do my fingers. The dry brush is like my fingers, okay? We've boom, 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 boom. And now we've got these minute little gaps and drops in the dry brush. This is a good spot now for when you take your filter and drop your filter in. This is a good place for the filter to go. It goes in these recesses and enhances, but it also takes that harshness of the dry brush and lessens the effect. So in some respects, it's really good to do the wash as the third step of your dry brushing and your base painting, but you don't really want to go that direction. You truly want to base paint, wash, dry brush, filter, dry brush, filter, dry brush, filter, dry brush. That's what you truly want to do. But that's when we get way in, when I start doing the really advanced build, which, oh man, you think my Martha's going to set up a tent out back and forget the shotgun. She'll get a 105 millimeter mortar and we'll be sitting here with pith helmets and bunkers, because it's going to get really, but I'll show you some really hardcore advanced techniques. And again, let's get right on the top of this. And this one, I see if I can do it an angle, Dave, so we can truly watch this grow. And watch it instantly change. Instantly. Shouldn't be doing a wash on this angle, but watch this instantly change. Look at that. Look how much better that is. Bam! Better. And it's running. Put this down. Again, a little thinner. And into this nacelle. Now I'm going to do this nacelle correctly and not for the camera. So you can see exactly how the process is truly done. Now notice, I'm going real fast. I'm not staying in one area very long at all. I am breaking the cardinal rule of stroking the paint until I get into the detail. Notice what I do in the detail. Dab, 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 dab. And again, look at how much better that is. There's no question. There is no question. Okay, and on to this last piece here. Oh, and then it's time to drag you down with me, folks. Drag you into my modeling abyss. I've had a good time with this episode, Dave. Enjoyed this episode. Episode number 26. We have passed the 25 mark. Imagine that, folks.
It's hard to believe.
It really is. It's hard to believe. And honestly, I want to take this opportunity too now to thank you so much, viewers. Honestly, thank you so much. We are getting such a great response to this show. It's overwhelming. I've gotten calls from Duluth, Minnesota, Clearwater, Florida, Corpus Christi, Texas, Alaska. Where else?
Sandwich, Massachusetts.
Sandwich, Massachusetts. The Greater Soviet Republic. Ishkabil, Casablanca. Humphrey Bogart called from Casablanca and said, "Could you paint it again, kid?" So, all right, time for corruption. Jay, have you seen that little German guy around lately?
Not lately.
I think he's going to make a reappearance. Now, I'm going to do it. Oh, crap. Okay. Wet, wet, wet. What was that? 30 seconds, 40 seconds? We're pretty dry. We're really pretty dry. We're almost dry to a point. I'm running out of time, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay, so we probably won't be gluing these wings together.
No.
No. Let's stop. Thank you, hair dryer. Put this away. And again, we will say thank you once again for watching myself and Clam Bake Dave right here on Simple Groundwork and Diorama Techniques. I am your host and instructor, Bill Grigg. You follow along with me, students. Are you going to put a little montage after this, Dave?
Yes.
Are you? Okay. Here's some examples of my built-up stuff. I hope you enjoy this. Keep on building. Keep on following me on with these techniques. These will work for you. Be careful with the heat from the hair dryer, and we'll see you again right here. Simple Groundwork and Diorama Techniques. Model on, folks. Model on.